Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't think it was possible, but I actually found Swirling the anime. Of course, it's not really called that. It's actually called Michiko and Hachin. It's an anime from 2008. I was interested in watching this anime for two particular reasons. Now, of course, I don't like the swirling, but I'm going to tell you why I was attracted to this anime to begin with. It was made by the same production company that produced Cowboy Bebop, which is one of my favorite animes of all time. If you haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, you don't know what you're missing. It's a great show, had also a great movie. And also the art style and the fact that majority of the characters in this anime are black characters. They're either Afro-Latina, Afro-Brazilian, but they're mostly black characters. There are some non-black characters in this show as well, but we take the forefront, which is really cool. Unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of swirling in here for a lot of females. I don't like that at all, and I'm going to get to that. And of course, with shows like this that focus on non-Japanese characters when it's made in Japan, there are also stereotypes that come along with it. So I'm going to talk about that as quickly as possible and try to get everything out that I need to talk about with this show. Make your decision if you want to watch it or not. I subscribe to Funimation because I want to finish the Dragon Ball series. So I started watching Dragon Ball Z from the beginning, and then I'm going to Super. I'm going to go back and watch Dragon Ball, and of course the one that nobody likes, GT. I want to get my Dragon Ball fix going because I'm in that stage of wanting to watch Dragon Ball again. So watching Dragon Ball, I came across a couple of other animes I could select, and this is one of them that I found out about. I remember hearing about the cast being major cast was going to be black, so I said let me check it out. Boy, this show is good when it comes to action, just like Cowboy Bebop. But Jesus Christ, the swirling and the stereotypes are really, really annoying. And I'm not trying to be an SJW here. I'm just pointing some things out. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, first of all, before I change the picture, I'm going to focus the picture right here on the main character, which is Michiko Malandro. Okay, so basically, here's one thing you need to know. All the black characters in this show have a Japanese first name and then have a Brazilian last name. I don't know why, but that's how it was done. So basically, Michiko is a badass female criminal. She's done a lot of bad things. She's broken out of jail 3 times. In the beginning of the first episode, it's the 4th time she's broken out of jail, and she's breaking out of jail for good this time because she wants to find a European man that she has fallen in love with years ago, 12 years to be exact. So she goes and finds the abandoned daughter of this European man named Hiroshi Morenos. This white man, basically, she breaks out of jail for him to find him. And from what I understand, as the anime goes on, because I haven't finished it yet, I'm like about maybe 10 more shows away from the ending. But this particular white man that she's in love with, he doesn't return her love. He's actually running away from her. Every time she gets close to the city or the town that he's in, he finds out that she's getting close and he's running from her. So he's running from the responsibilities of being a father, and he's also running from her that is in love with him. So the swirler, once again, looking like a fucking idiot because this one is a swirler that breaks out of jail and does criminal things, and she's willing to put herself in harm's way against rival drug dealers and gang members just to get to this white man who doesn't really want anything to do with her to begin with. Pathetic. Now, before I go on, the best part of this show, as far as I'm concerned, is this dark-skinned female named Atsuko Jackson. Atsuko Jackson is basically this vigilante who has gone rogue and will stop at nothing to put Michiko back in jail. She was a former friend of hers from 12 years ago. They grew up at the same orphanage. You know, Michiko decided to live a life of crime, whereas Atsuko decided to live a life of justice. And she would do anything she can to track Michiko down, return to where she belongs in jail. And I like the interaction between the two, but the one thing I've noticed that is Michiko, who is a little bit lighter skinned than her, I guess you want to talk about colorism, she does call the darker sister here, Atsuko, she calls her Jambo, which is supposed to be a derogatory or slang word for dark skinned. And you can see how it affects her in the I believe the first or second episode, I believe, when they first showed them interacting with each other. She didn't like the fact that she was being called Jambo because it's like a slang word for the N word or something like that. But Atsuko Jackson here, this character is one of the best characters in this show. She is basically the law enforcement who is trying to bring in the criminal. And even though she's on the side of the law and a lot of people root for the bad guy, I actually like this character a lot. Her character model is really good. She's got a beautiful blonde afro, beautiful dark skin, and she's drawn very sexy like most black women are. Anyway, but this is one of my favorite characters, and she's one of the highlights of the show. I would also like to note that there is an actual black female that is voicing his character, which is really authentic. I like that fact. And she is Afro Brazilian, so she's definitely black. Whereas Machiko is Afro Latina, and she's being voiced by an actual white woman who is pretending to have an African American voice, which is actually laughable because a lot of characters in this show who are black men and black women are actually being voiced by white voice actors who are using slang words and stuff, and they sound absolutely ridiculous in English when they are voicing the characters. But I found it funny. I didn't find it hateful or anything like that. I just found it to be fucking hilarious. But this is the best character as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. There are a number of gangs that appear in the show as well. There are a lot of Brazilian gangs that appear, um, you know, from Brazilian kids to black children, dark skin or light skin, that work together to do criminal activities. They steal sneakers, they steal people's money and stuff like that. It's almost a direct reference to a movie like City of God or City of Men. If you ever seen that, you know what I'm talking about. And City of God was a really good movie. If you've never seen it, you should really check it out. It's pretty much about Sao Paulo, Brazil, back in the 70s up into the 80s, and the criminal activities that was going on there, which still go on to this day over there. But it was definitely a good movie. And you see a lot of that in this particular anime, which makes it pretty cool. The thing that I've noticed about the black men particularly, they're all criminals. They're all either criminals, they're all stupid. They have no sense of most of them, the majority of them have no sense of intelligence at all. They're all either dumbasses, they're unintelligent, or they're afraid when they're getting shot at. They don't know how to shoot a gun properly, but they know how to get themselves involved in criminal activities. The only black man in this particular show that's even worth mentioning about is this particular black man here. He's one of the main characters. His name is Satoshi, because I told you they have Japanese names. His name is Satoshi Batista. He's a badass black dude that is the pretty much the leader of one of these gangs that has taken over the area, where Machiko was looking for Morenos. Hiroshi Morenos was the white man she's looking for. And he is actually the friend of this white man, okay? And he didn't like the fact that Machiko was getting close to this white dude because he wanted the white dude to stay with him as his first lieutenant and take over the city. But he gets in, he comes like near the middle of the show when it's almost over. And boy, does he make an impression, because he pretty much takes the former leader of the gang hostage and kidnaps his wife and family and pretty much tortures them. Does to him, the former leader, what he did to him when he was a child, because when he was a child he was trying to take over the organization, and he was tortured by this particular man, so he got his revenge as an older guy. But he's a really cool character. I think he gets killed later on, but he's one of probably the best black male characters I've seen presented in anime. Even though he's a criminal, he's a badass. Nobody fucks with this dude, and if you fuck with him, you're gonna get your ass killed, because he doesn't play. He don't take no shit. He is a badass, and that's the bottom line. So getting back into the stereotypes and the swirling part of this show, we have a young girl named Rita Onizetti. Okay, she was abandoned by her parents, so that's great. Two black parents abandoning their child, and she was basically raised in a circus as an acrobat. She's only 10 years old, but she falls in love with an older man who is her acrobatic partner, and she falls in love with him and wants to be, his girlfriend, but unfortunately she's too young, and he has a girlfriend of his own that's pregnant. Now, before I get to the guy that she likes, she dresses way too promiscuous for a 10-year-old girl. So they're looking at our young children as sluts and whores, basically, because look at the dress that she's wearing right here. I'm going to show you. Check it out. This is not a dress that a child should be wearing at all, whether it be an anime or whether it be real life, but she dresses like this. She acts like an adult. She even says in the anime that she talks to older men just to make the other guy jealous, even though he doesn't give a shit about her because he's not even interested in her. And guess who she's in love with? Guess what guy she's trying to be with? He's not a black guy. No. He's an Italian guy. Let's get to him right now. This is the white dude, the Italian dude that the little black girl that's 10 years old that throws herself at older men is actually in love with and wants to be with. First of all, he's way older than her, and of course he's white. So the swirling agenda is in this, and this is in 2008. It's disgusting to me, okay? That's number one. Number two, he has a girlfriend that's pregnant. Her name is Natalia Perez. She's Afro-Latina. So she's half black, half Latina. So the swirling agenda once again. And this would be her. So this is the Gino guy. I just show you. This is his girlfriend that's pregnant. She appears more black than she does anything else. Swirling agenda, anyone? I think so. And guess what the title of this episode was called? Chocolate Girl in Love. I kid you not. There's one other thing that I want to mention before I leave, because I've pretty much talked about all I need to talk about, but there's one last thing. This Afro-Latina, who appears to be a brown-skinned black woman, okay, who has broken out of jail to find this white man and has the white man's daughter with him, okay, and is in love with this man unconditionally. She gets involved with another white man while she is staying at a hotel. She goes to get her hair done at this beautician, and she kind of starts to fall in love with this man named Bruno, who's another white male, as I said. So she knows the man is married, but she doesn't care. She tries to fight the emotion that she has, the attraction she has for him, but he comes over to her place. They share a cigarette, and then they make love to each other. As you can see right here, sharing a cigarette. Then they have an affair. Even though it's a one-night stand, it's still an affair because the man is married. That leads me to believe that the people that made this show think that black women are sluts, whores, because of what I've showed you with the swirling and with the outfit the little girl wore, and with this black woman getting involved with a man that's married, not giving a fuck, okay? That makes me think that they think that black women are whores and sluts and have no morality about them. Sure, they dress sexy, but they're really only there just to have sex with, and they're not someone you really want to marry or take home to your mother. The only black woman that actually has a sense of class, or even a bit of class, is Atsuko Jackson. Because they don't make her look like a whore. She doesn't whore herself around, even though she has a voluptuous body. She's all about class. She doesn't sleep around. She's all about taking this criminal back in, even if it's her friend. She knows she has to do this because it's the right thing to do. So at least with this particular character, that's why I say she's my favorite character, because she's the only one they haven't really fucked up in this show. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take my leave now. They've made the black men in this show pretty stereotypical as criminals, unintelligent, fearful, or just downright dumb. The only one that is redeemable as far as a badass goes, even though he's still a criminal, is Satoshi, as I said earlier. Now, I've seen black characters in other animes. Here's examples right here, and they've been represented properly. But this is why other people cannot really represent us, because they have their own particular idea of how we are as people. But I've seen some really good representations like this character here. That's why I had used him one point as my avatar on my channel from Soul Eater. He's a pretty decent character. But this show is made in Japan. Japan has its own particular mindset, its own particular ideals about what they think black people are about. Although the show is good and it has some pretty damn good action, I don't like the swirling in it. I don't like the fact that they got a lot of black females acting like they need to be with a white man over any other man. You got a black woman breaking out of jail basically to be with a white man and go to any length she can to find him. It's just, it's pathetic. And it would be pathetic if a black man did it as well. But anyway, that's all I got to say about this show. It's called Michiko and Hachin. If you want to watch it, you could probably find it somewhere on YouTube. I know I found it on Funimation. Anyway, I'm done, and I'll see you next time. Let me know what you think about this shit in the comments section. We get the shit popping.